What's up, everybody? Today's video is about the expenses of posting items on eBay. We're going to be talking about insertion fees and the costs associated with posting items, whether you're posting hundreds of thousands of items or you're only posting 10 or 20 items, okay? So first, we need to establish what an insertion fee is. Insertion fees are an amount of cents that varies between 2 cents and 40 cents, I think. They just changed it. So it used to be 30 was the most you would pay, but I think now it's like 40 or 50, okay? So you used to pay that amount to list your item on eBay, regardless of whether it actually produces a sale or not, right? This is different than final value fees. Final value fees are only taken if the item produces a sale, okay? And we're not going to be talking about final value fees. We're just going to be talking about these insertion fees, okay? So typically, when you use eBay, you're not really going to experience insertion fees. And this is because eBay usually has some kind of promotion or deal going on where you can have like 50 listings for free or 100 auctions for free or something like that, right? So don't be surprised if you're using eBay, but you don't necessarily find that you're paying these insertion fees. As a seller, obviously, who's doing it for like business and not just kind of for fun occasionally, you will encounter these insertion fees. But ultimately, insertion fees are really only a problem if you have loads and loads of items, right? If you have a couple hundred or even a couple thousand, well, no, once you have 1,000 items, then insertion fees are relevant. But in order to understand how much one would pay, I need to explain to you how store subscriptions work on eBay. Because without store subscriptions, having a big store would pretty much be unfeasible. It would be so cost prohibitive, it wouldn't be worth it, okay? And this is because at the beginning, you have to pay like, it used to be 30 cents per listing. I think they just changed it. I should have looked at this before recording the video. So it might be a bit higher than that, but it used to be 30 cents per listing, right? If you have 100,000 items, like, damn, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, right? So that's prohibitive. And eBay wants to encourage people to post more items. So paying 30 cents is just the base. That's the amount that you have if you don't have any kind of store subscription, okay? And now there are 5 store subscriptions that you can get. 5 levels, each one with more benefits and also more expensive than the previous one. And each one, there is a specific number of listings that you're paying for, right? And I don't know how to articulate this, but there is a specific point of store size based on quantity of items available in your store where it becomes cheaper to do the next level. So it's not a question of like, should I, shouldn't I, should I weigh the benefits? It's a matter of what size is your store? Okay, this is your best option. So it's something that's really easy to figure out, okay? But I need to really explain more about what these subscriptions are because people get confused by them. And there's one important thing to understand first, and that's that just because you buy a bigger store subscription does not mean that your account limits increase as well. You're going to have to make sure that you grow your account limits, which are a separate thing, in order to be able to actually use the store subscription that you're paying for, okay? And so the first one is a new one, and I think it's called Starter. And that's really basic, and it's something like 10 bucks a month. And I'm not going to go into specific details about every store in this video. What I'm going to explain is just kind of how the store subscriptions work, okay? And in general, each tier, there's 5 tiers, right? So each tier makes your insertion fees per item cheaper at a monthly cost, right? So for example, the way it used to work was that it was 30 cents normally. But then if you got the mid-tier store, you would pay like 100 or like 80 bucks a month or 70 bucks a month. And instead of being 30 cents per listing, your listings would only be 15 or 20 cents each, right? And so in general, once you pay the amount for the store, and then you would also get an amount of free listings. So with the Anchor store, the way that worked is it reduced the cost of each listing to 5 cents. But in purchasing the Anchor store, which costs $300 a month with a yearly commitment, then you get 10,000 listings. So effectively, you're not getting any free listings. What's happening is you're paying the monthly store amount for a specific amount of listings. So if you look at the Anchor store as an example, you're paying $300 for 10,000 free listings. This means that you are paying 3 cents per listing. And now obviously you're paying 3 cents per listing, but you're also getting other benefits at that point. The jump to Anchor store is the most beneficial jump, because at that point you have access to a dedicated merchant support team, and you can literally call them about anything and just talk to them and ask them for advice. They're a really, really, really valuable resource. But aside from that, it's usually just a difference in price, right? That's the thing that the stores provide. And it can be a little bit confusing, because having a store subscription means that you also have like a store front, which you can imagine as kind of like your own website on eBay, right? So there's ways to profit from that if you can get people to be just browsing your specific items versus browsing through search results, which will show competition, right? But I don't want to get too abstract here. I really just want to help you understand that the amount you pay per item on eBay when you're posting a store, regardless to whether you're dropshipping or not, it's dependent on how many items you are posting in general, right? Because some people would pay 20 or 30 cents per listing. Like right now, I'm paying 2 or 3 cents per listing, but that's because I subscribe to an enterprise store, which is $3,000 for 100,000 listings, right? So that's 3 cents per listing. But then that same store allows you to get bundles of 50,000 listings for 2 cents per listing. So ultimately, on eBay US, the cheapest that you can get insertion fees to be is 2 cents after you've paid 3 cents each on the first 100,000 items for the month. So in order to take advantage of that 2 cents price, you would have to be able to post pretty much like 150,000 items, right? And now there is something that's important to understand here, and that's that in certain marketplaces other than the US, right? Because everything I'm sharing with you is specific to the eBay US marketplace. This isn't how it works in eBay France or eBay Israel or the other marketplaces, right? So eBay US is the biggest by far. But it is important to understand that in the other marketplaces, it's pretty common for the Anchor store to actually have unlimited insertion fees. And so this is something that I've always known I could, like you can absolutely earn more money from bulk in a store that doesn't have insertion fees. Like that's insane. But that's a whole separate thing. My point's that it depends on the marketplaces, and everything that I've just shared with you is specific to eBay US. Whereas in eBay France and eBay UK, and I think in eBay Australia starting November or last November, the Anchor store has unlimited insertion fees. So you can actually pay a monthly fee for no more insertion fees. That is a thing that exists in some eBay marketplaces. That does not exist in eBay US. So the cheapest that you can get items to be is 3 cents each on your insertion fees, but you're going to have to be able to post 100,000 items to do that. If you are able to post about 10,000 items, then the cheapest you can get is 5 cents per listing. And if it's in the thousands, then I believe it's 10 or 20. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I've worked with those specific numbers, but I figured that this would be a good subject because someone in particular asked me about this. So there you go. All right, guys, thanks for watching and have a great time. Ciao.